Hey, what's up, guys? It's Marco from Screen Peek, and in today's video, we are going to break down our wants and desires for upcoming heroes in Marvel Rivals. We'll discuss a list of the already leaked heroes in Marvel Rivals, and after the big changes coming from Season 9, which has been basically Marvel Rivals 2.0, we talk about what we want out of the future of Rivals in the form of heroes that we would like to see. So Nick and I will both give our top 5 lists independently, so stick around to the end of the video and curious to see what you guys think about our list. So let's get started. All right, before we get started and jump right into our list of characters, want to introduce my co-host. He's a certified whale in Marvel Snap, but when it comes to the recent changes in Marvel Rivals, I'd say he's more of a fish out of water. It's my co-host Nick.
What's going on, man? First of
Nothing
all,
much.
I'm not a whale in Marvel Snap. I'm more of a guppy. All right, maybe an oversized guppy, but a guppy nonetheless.
I don't know, Chad. I saw this guy. He had like 15,000 tokens, 5,000 gold today. And that's a whale to me. Which, by the way, actually, if anyone out there who's watching this plays Marvel Snap, we do have an alliance for Screen Peek. If you are an active member, Nick and I are, besides Marvel Rivals fans, big Marvel Snap players. I think we're playing hours a day. So
Yeah,
if you want to join us, let us know. We'll be happy to put our link in the description to join our Marvel Snap Alliance. It's just literally just called Screen Peek Gaming
yeah,
on Marvel Snap. So we'll
yep.
share that ID.
Lot,
So
lot, lot of fun to be
hit us up.
had. And
Yeah.
if you wanna see Marco crash out, you just 1v1 Marco, and that's it.
Never crashed out in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. So today's video, we're going to break down just our desired lists of characters we would love to see in Marvel Rivals, and we'll kind of break down what we think about their power set and how they would lend nicely into the game. We've been playing a lot of Rivals lately. Rivals is one of my personal favorite games of the last couple of years. I have close to 500 hours. I play this game almost nightly. Quite honestly, some of the best fun I've had in recent years. But before we jump into our lists, I do want to break down some of the recent leaked heroes. Nick, were you gonna say something?
No, I agree with you. Marvel Rivals has been a lot of fun. This like 2.0 update, it drew me back in. I wasn't super like big into Rivals, and Marco was like, "Hey, let's play it." You know, we've been doing some quick play because crossplay they don't have comp. But actually, I think you caught me. I was playing some comp by myself, and it was a lot of fun, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. And maybe I'll spend some dollars on those skins.
Those skins, man. That's all. Skins equal wins. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite skin has been. There's been some absolute bangers lately on the skin front, but let's talk about. So in our list, we're not going to talk about any of the leaked heroes. So to get those out of the way, I want to just some of the things that are more or less confirmed, and this is coming out of posts like Reddit, but some of the biggest Twitter users, XOX leaks. I'm forgetting the name, Marvel Susie. I might be misremembering your name. Bunch of certified leakers out on Twitter who are always putting out great information on leaked characters. So just really quickly rattling off some of the leaked characters. So I think next season, season 10 is very likely to be Captain Marvel as well as Nightcrawler. Super excited about those. Nightcrawler has always been one of my favorite characters, though he has to be a dive duelist, which is the one role I refuse to play. I cannot dive for the life of me. So as much as I love Nightcrawler, don't think I'll be maining him. But outside of those two, later this year, probably when the new movie comes out, Doomsday, we will get Doctor Doom. Excited to see what role they put him in. I can see him very much being a vanguard or a strategist, but he could really fit into any role. Gore, the God Butcher, is also confirmed, more or less confirmed. This is all more or less confirmed, right? Nothing's been official yet. And then rattling off some other ones: Professor X, Sprite, Trapster or Paste Pot Pete, which could be a fun one. He has like a glue gun. That could be fun. Colossus, who's one of my favorite X-Men. Locust, Beast, Armor, Hive, Forge, and Amaranth. I don't know how I feel about Amaranth. That's like I think she's I could be wrong. Someone correct me in the comments. I think she's the daughter of Wanda.
Man,
Or
we're going pretty
yeah.
deep in the
Yeah. I was just
Marvel
like, why? Like,
universe
we
right now.
we don't need another Wanda. But some other ones there, Hit Monkey, which would be awesome.
Ooh,
I'm
yes.
excited for Hit Monkey. Supposedly Howard the Duck, but I don't see him as a character. I'm sure he's like a background character, but could be wrong. One I'm super excited about is MODOK. MODOK is one of my favorite Marvel villains. Valkyrie, and then very recently, as part of a data mine, talks about Blue Marvel. I love Blue Marvel, and then someone named Crescent, and I actually don't know who Crescent is. I might have to look them up afterwards. Um, and then some other teases here and there from voice lines. Deadpool and some of his voice lines teases the Juggernaut, as well as somebody I would beg to see added to the game, but it's not part of our list, is Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider. I think it would be.
But which Ghost Rider? I think that's a better question.
I mean, I'm a OG guy, so Johnny Blaze all day. But I know there's a lot of what's the other, Rodney Reyes or Robbie Reyes?
Robbie Reyes. Yeah.
Yeah, with the car and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I can see Robbie Reyes.
I think they would probably go Robbie Reyes.
You think so?
I think so. Even though Johnny is like the classic, I think they would probably go Robbie Reyes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
whatever form, whoever it is, I would love Ghost Rider. And then the other big tease, and this is coming out of like some of the other leakers and videos, YouTubers I watch. Shout out to Dill Bobs on YouTube, who posts a lot of great Marvel Rivals content. Like I was watching his videos, and so basically like where the story is going, like Doctor Doom by the end of this year will probably be axed out of the main villain out of the story of Rivals, will be added to the game, and in the coming years, very likely looking to be like maybe it's Mephisto as the next big villain. So
That'd be cool.
maybe depending on how the story goes, after a year or two, maybe we get Mephisto added to the game as well. If Doctor Doom now is coming to the game after he's done being the main villain, so super exciting time to be a Marvel Rivals fan. Season 9, like I know Season 9 has its issues from a comp perspective. A lot of people are complaining like it's way too chaotic. If everyone's broken, no one's broken. Like they added so much to this game, but honestly, like as a fan, I've been having fun with it. It's so much new content.
Listen, it's a lot of fun. I mean, they're going the Dodo way. I mean, I don't think there's like a true right or wrong way to go about balancing these types of games. And honestly, it's just more fun when everyone's broken and viable, and like you can actually do damage with like basically anybody and make an impact. It's a lot of fun.
And let's be honest, like if you played comp for more than 5-10 minutes, like yes, it could be sweaty, but there's a lot of casuals on this game who don't know how to play the game, or they play the game wrong, or it's like you have everyone under the sun playing this game. So like I understand the route they're taking. We're just like throw everything at the wall. It's a superhero game. Like,
yeah, they want they want people to be able to play who they want to play, right? And rather than like play only the meta characters, they want people to choose their favorite Marvel character and be successful with it. And I honestly, I applaud them for going that way. It makes the game a lot more fun.
And the comp and like they do their best to balance. Like honestly, like as chaotic as it is, I'm like right now I think it's in honestly a good place. Like granted, I haven't been in the super high ranks of comp in probably like about a year now. It's almost like the highest I was at is like Grandmaster 1 at the tip of it eternity.
Yeah.
I've been kind of hard stuck in Diamond 1 lately because it's really is a grind to like Diamond is such a hellhole of a mixed bag of players, so it's been hard to get out of Diamond without super grinding, and I got other games to play as well. But anyway, let's jump right into the list. If you don't mind, Nick, I'll kick us off and then we'll just kind of alternate, and in post edit we'll post like pictures and stuff of some of these characters if you haven't heard of them. So my first one, I'm already going to start out the gate somewhat cheating, but I do think all three kind of have to come at once. So I would love to add X-Force members to the game. And I already mentioned Forge has been leaked. And Forge is probably most definitely coming to the game. Obviously, you could see Forge as a strategist. And I would love him to be a strategist in the vein of like a Mantis, in the sense that like his superpowers, he could build anything. Like he can really just like make enhancements to any tech. So I would love him just not even just a healer, but also like increasing damage output, survivability of your teammates, like a true strategist role where he's like not just a healer, but alongside Forge. My two of my favorite characters, we need Cable and we need Bishop. And I kind of went back and forth as like between Cable and Bishop, which one's the Vanguard and which one is the duelist. I could honestly make an argument for either, but I think Cable would be probably more so the duelist. Bishop would be a Vanguard. Bishop is power set, like energy manipulation. He could absorb. I could see him like blocking incoming damage, shooting it back out, making shields. And Cable with like the techno organic virus. I think there's so much fun you could have there with like maybe infecting other players or like infecting your own teammates and like giving them some sort of boost. But like Cable, like I'm a big DPS. I'm mostly a DPS, point blank shooter type guy. So like I like Punisher has been my main. I have 100 hours, more than 100 hours on Punisher. So I know Cable might be a little bit similar, but I think he could be different enough with like his arm, his techno organic virus, etc. His psychic ability, his telepathic psychic abilities. So Cable would be like my number one alongside Bishop and Forge.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on with the techno organic virus, like kind of mechanic, having him like infect people, kind of like in Marvel Snap where you play that card and infects all the cards. I think that's that's an unexplored mechanic in Rivals, and I think if anyone's gonna pull it off, I think it's that dev team. I think that would make it pretty insane. Honestly, could be fun.
I know they said after season 1, like when they released all 4 Fantastic Four members in like the same season, they're like every season after this, like they're only gonna do 2 characters. I know Forge is coming to like honestly make me one exception and give me X Force all at once. And you could probably I can't even think of another X Force member, but those are like the main 3 in my mind: Cable, Bishop, Forge, and like I would just love one big old X Force season. So that is my number 1 pick. Because honestly, like for my dream game, like I love X Force. Like Cable was always my favorite superhero, like favorite X-Men, especially from like the '90s cartoon, and now watching X-Men '97 season 2. Like I just love Cable as a character, and I've always wanted like an X Force video game. So get me as close as possible and put it in Rivals for me.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, more X-Men, X-Force, mutant characters they're always welcome for sure.
Who's your number 1?
Yeah, I didn't have them in like a particular order, but the first one that comes to mind, I'm going to go on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm going to go with a villain. I'm going to go with Dr. Otto Octavius. I think Doc Ock, Mr. Dr. Octopus himself, would be a solid Vanguard. And I can just envision him, like, how the environment is destructible. I can envision him like pulling pieces of like brick and like, from the ground, from the walls, and kind of like flinging it, using it as like a shield, things like that. But on top of his arms, he's a genius, right? Like I think they can very much add something to his kit where, I don't know, maybe something more like psionic, thing like I don't know. I'm not. That's why I'm not a developer, right? But I can just envision him being a really cool Vanguard, someone that can kind of get some height, right? I know we have Angela who flies, right? But we don't have a whole lot of Vanguards that can actually be up, right? A lot of them are down on the ground, in your face. I think Doc Ock, having his many arms and being able to do many things and manipulate, kind of like just being low to the ground to being high in the air, I think that can be a cool like
Honestly,
new way of playing.
So something cool that they could do with Doc Ock that they did with Angela, now that you mentioned her, like, so Angela is like one of the few characters who has like quote free flight, like she can fly anywhere. it'd be awesome, like Doc Ock, if he was just like on four tentacles the whole time, and like he can like free climb, like if you
Yeah,
just
yeah, like
like
Venom.
move towards it. But like Venom, like you have to like cling, like you have to press a button. Like I would
Oh,
love if you could just like move up a wall and like, you know, it's like more free moving where
yeah, yeah.
like instead of having to grab it, like because Venom like pretty much stands still, or like Spider-Man, you have to click a button and like he
Yeah, you're like
runs.
latched on, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
I'm
Doc
talking
Ock,
free movement,
free
upscaling
movement,
buildings.
and then just tearing pieces of the wall
Yeah.
off and chucking it
Yeah.
at people, right? Immobile. Like in my opinion, I think tanks need to have some sort of CC, right? Like
Yeah.
Groot has a CC, Strange has a CC. I Thor has a displacement by like charging
Right.
people, right? Like Doc Ock can grab a big ass boulder and just chuck it at a group and just stun them, like,
Or even like grab four people at once.
as his ult. I know, and that would be insane because then,
right.
because what I described was kind of like he's kind of a ranged tank by like chucking like
Yeah.
the environment, but make him be an actual tank and go up front to people and just grab four people and just slam them down or something. I think that would be cool.
And that's my, like, I'm mostly a DPS guy, but when I do play tank, it has to be a ranged tank. Like, I am not going to dive tank. So like whatever we could do from a ranged tank perspective, I think we could definitely use more ranged tanks and less brawlers, but I know people love their brawlers. Nice. My number 2 choice is one I've been thinking about, and it's come out of also revisiting Overwatch recently, and one of my favorite healers from that game. I would love to see Shang Chi added to the game, but specifically, I would love Shang Chi as a strategist, and I would love to see him as a strategist, very much in the same exact vein as a Zenyatta from Overwatch. So what I foresee is like a Shang Chi is, you know, he has his 10 rings,
Yeah.
right? You put a ring on an enemy, it acts like an orb of discord, so they take additional damage when they're tagged, and then you put your another ring or two on your teammates, and it constantly heals, sort of like an Ultron drone in a way, but like he's very much just a Zenyatta, so he shoots out rings, and like very similar playstyle to Zenyatta. Like you're basically constantly managing who has your rings placed, and like you can shoot out rings or like charge up rings, and like we kind of, if you ever saw the Shang-Chi Marvel movie, that's kind of how he, like, they fight with the rings in the movies too, is like they're shooting out the rings off of his arms and so forth. But I would also love him to be like also a little bit anti-dive as well. I think healers, you know, always struggle with dive, especially when tanks and DPS aren't peeling towards their back line. And like Shang-Chi being, you know, a martial arts master, like can also probably switch to a martial arts mode and like do some up close quarters combat to like defend themselves. So like I would love to see a Zenyatta, you know, Iron Fist type mashup where, you know, he can switch between modes. And I think Shang-Chi now, especially with Simu Liu and the movie, like is getting more attention. Hopefully we see Shang-Chi too, because that's honestly one of my favorite Marvel movies personally. I think it was very well done.
Yeah.
I would love to see Shang-Chi.
I think that'd be sick. I know a lot of fans are probably gonna say like, oh well, there's is it pronounced Lin
Iron
Lee?
Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and like, I think there was like a fan theory of like, oh, Shang-Chi is dead, killed by Lin Lee, right? And that's why Shang-Chi's not in. But I mean, man, like it's Marvel Rivals. I at this point, I think in the lore, like they're pulling characters from different like. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
Captain America in this universe is not 616 Captain America. It's 2099 Captain. Like,
exactly. So
there's no rules.
There's no rules to this, right, guys? So I agree with you. I think Shang-Chi would be so sick. I love the idea of the rings. What I want to see is them play more around his martial arts skills, and then use the 10 rings as an ammo system to do, as you said, like whatever, like a debuff on enemies, but like some sort of heal or a buff on your allies, right? And you got to keep track because it's a 6v6 game. So, but you only have 10 rings, So
Mm.
where are the rings gonna
Oh,
go,
I see.
right?
Like it,
So
it
you
takes
you
away
have
from your ammo.
you,
Yeah,
it
that'd be a
takes away
good
from your
balance.
ammo, and you gotta manage that
That'd be
system.
cool, actually. Yeah.
Exactly. And actually, if that's a little too broken because it's like 10 and there's only 12 people, keep it to 8 or 6, and the other rings has to stay on Shang-Chi to do his like other abilities, right? Like we've seen in the movies, he chains
Yeah.
together the rings and maybe create some sort of whatever. I think it could be a cool idea for
I
sure.
do think it's an interesting mechanic that Rivals hasn't explored. Is like there's not too many like risk and reward characters, and I think that could be like a very interesting mechanic. Like
Yeah.
the more you risk by putting your rings out there, like yeah, you have more rewards in terms of like healing and buffs, but like you're risking your own life versus putting less out there, you're being more safe. So yeah, that could be super fun.
For
What's
sure.
your next character?
Yeah, so my next character, I'm gonna go basic with this next character because my next 3 characters, I promise you guys, they're bangers. I promise, okay? But this one in particular, I think this is a character that's probably been asked for by quite a lot of players at this point. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm going to go with Gamora, right? We have a bunch of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the game already. Why do we not have Gamora? She is one of the most deadly assassins in the Marvel universe. I think they give her the title the most dangerous woman in the galaxy, right?
Yep.
Raised by Thanos, she is just insane. I can envision her as a duelist, of course. I think obviously using some swords and potentially some sort of ranged weapon, allowing her, kind of like the new Black Widow, right? Like alternating between melee and range, but maybe with more of a focus on the melee piece of it, right? Letting her go in and be an assassin, right? Not necessarily dive, but I think being able to utilize at least putting something in her kit to I don't know if you've ever played Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
But like
Long time ago, but-
like the spy.
Right.
You can like something like the spy and like being able to like backstab and do like extra damage and things like that. I think that can be cool. I just would love to see more representation of the Guardians of the Galaxy and of course I just want to see them complete, right? Like it feels like it's missing a core member.
I think that's bound to happen, and I would assume like Gamora and Drax have to like drop in the same season.
Yeah.
Drax obviously has like a Vanguard, and like that would be the perfect 2-2-2 because then you would have Mantis, Rocket, healers,
Yep.
Star-Lord,
Exactly.
Gamora, DPS, and Groot, Drax, tank. So, I think it's bound to happen. I think obviously it takes long to develop these characters. I think you just have to like, how do you differentiate Gamora from like a Psylocke versus a Magic?
Exactly.
Right? And, like, so I do think we say it, and like they have done some very interesting things with characters and like using like the lore of Chronovium to like somewhat change. Like it's close, but like like I think Rogue is a perfect example, right?
Or
like,
Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil, they
Like,
changed, they gave him all this extra stuff. They're like, what the hell? But, yeah, so they could definitely do something. Gamora definitely has to come to the game, like, and complete the Guardians. And I think, and let's be honest, it's another opportunity for some Gooner skins.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Speaking of Gooner skins, I think my third character also lends themselves perfectly to the Gooner skin.
That's why he picked this character. I guarantee it.
I mean, look, NetEase knows what sells, right? Like it's no secret at this point. But I would love to see Aero, one of the Inhumans, add to the game. I was personally first introduced to Aero through Marvel Snap, and some of those like very like Aero, White Fox, Luna Snow, who obviously is like one of the biggest mascots for Marvel Rivals. Like all those characters are pretty much created. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but like in the last like 16 years, like since 2010, basically, all those like even I think some of like 2015 or so. So all fairly recent characters, and Rivals has not shied away from adding more of those recent characters. I think Aero would naturally lend herself to being a strategist, but again, I don't like pure healing strategists. I like having a little bit of tactics. I think Aero would be someone who could probably do some really interesting things with like just like how Storm gives speed boosts, etc. Aero has similar wind-based powers. Like, I would love to see from a strategist perspective, like a team up Aero Storm, like and really make people more speedy and like really get to the point faster, etc. Like, obviously there'll need to be some balancing there, but yeah, like more strategists in the sense of like buffing your teammates in a way that's not just obviously healing them or giving like I would love to see more speed boosts. I think Arrow could do that. And also just like more fun with like the pushing and pulling and like kind of manipulating people around the battlefield. I think has been a really fun mechanic. Jubilee has like a push ability with her ultimate. Emma Frost, my favorite tank, is like very much a displacer. Angela's a displacer. I think Arrow could be like the queen of displacement, right? Like with her wind-based powers.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of like
I
Marvel
think,
Snap,
yeah. Like in Snap, if you don't play like when you play her in a lane, like the enemy's last played card, like wherever they played it goes to the same lane that Arrow's in. So like it's
Yeah.
really good in like control decks, and like control is very much in the name of the game in Marvel Rivals. So I think Arrow's one of those characters, and plus we have she's part of the Agents of Atlas, she's part of the Tiger division, we have White Fox, we have Iron Fist, like
Yeah.
natural team ups there.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those characters that Arrow would definitely come with time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think she's, for sure coming to the game. I was just gonna say all the characters you had mentioned are actually in the Agents of Atlas, like White Fox, Luna Snow, and even the leaked Crescent. We don't know too much about her, but she was in the comics.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah, as part of being recruited to the Agents of Atlas. So,
yeah. So I like that I do like that they're leaning into like some of these like Pan Asian characters who are more recent, like because they are honestly cool. Like I don't know too much about them. I haven't bought comics in like well over a decade because it gets too expensive, but just from what I've seen like in like some of the YouTube comic book shows and like what I hear about these characters, like they're really cool characters. So I'm glad they're I like that Rivals is like not afraid to like go into like a little bit of the deeper lore and introduce more people to these characters.
yeah, no, absolutely. It's I like seeing some of these niche characters, and if I don't know about them, I enjoy just looking them up and just knowing them, getting to know them, and I mean, some of these characters I've never heard of before, and I look up the comics and I read them, and I'm like, oh, like damn, this is interesting. This is awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
What's next on your list?
Yeah, my next character, one of my absolute favorite characters in the Marvel universe. Ever since I've read The Runaways, I've been absolutely just enamored with this character, and that character is Nico Minoru. Most recently, she was in things like The Midnight Suns, and just she's just such.
I think she was in. I could be wrong. I didn't watch it. I think she was in the recent Marvel show, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the Spider-Man cartoon. I think she's in there. I haven't watched it, but I thought I saw previews. So she's in some recent stuff.
Yeah, she's been a lot more popular in the mainstream now. I just a big fan of her, right? Big fan of the Runaways. I think I would love to see all the Runaways in Marvel Rivals and Marvel Snap. I think that'd be so cool. But I just envision her being like a strategist. I think it would be cool to have her just kind of alternate between like maybe 3 or 4 different spells, like very unique spells, and managing the resource that she manages would probably be something to do with I don't know, so because I don't know, it would just be cool because you have like a spell book of spells, and you're just able to just fire off like an offensive spell against the enemies. Maybe you have a more defensive spell for yourself. Maybe you have a spell that can buff your team. Um, you know,
Yeah, I mean, like they added the book mechanic with like Deadpool. So like Deadpool, as you're playing him, you have to like upgrade him with like light RPG mechanics and like select from the book what skills. Like, it'd be sick if you can like change Nico's. Like right now, she's gonna be a damage DPS booster. Now she's gonna be more healing or more defense or whatever. Like, is a switch on the fly and like look at her book and stuff. Like, you know, I think the foundation is already there with Deadpool. So
mhm.
definitely an interesting take.
Yep, yep. No, it would be so sick, and obviously, I think she can maybe not Gunner skins, but have some really, really sick skins, like some
I
demon, like
I
dark,
mean, we again
or
we
just give me a
mentioned Marvel's Snap, but like
hey,
she has so many cool variants in that game.
exactly. Or I mean, if you want Gunner skins, give me a goth mommy. I don't. I mean, I don't know. Sure.
I mean, Gotham is
Hey,
confirmed if
listen,
she if she
I'm not.
comes.
I won't complain. That's all I gotta
Right,
say.
that's right. But right now, I mean, I think Jubilee is taking the Goth Mommy because they gave her
The vampire
the
skin,
vampire
yeah,
stuff. she
yeah,
she is current Goth Mommy. Nico was good. I did look up. She was in the new Spider-Man show. The first thing on Reddit is like, why is she in this show? But yeah, like, so she's technically in mainstream Marvel MCU already because it's technically canon. So, um, yeah, definitely getting more attention, and I think that's a really good pick.
thanks.
Um, my last two will be villains. I agree with the rivals community. We need more villains in this game, man. Like, there's too many heroes. So, I'm gonna go out with a big one and indecisive between the two, but either a Green Goblin or a Hobgoblin. I
Yes,
do think
yes.
we have. There were. I was just seeing. I think there are some like maybe voice lines that reference Norman. So maybe we do get a Green Goblin. But of the leaks, like I don't think Green Goblin has any hero IDs or anything, so nothing totally confirmed. Just like like we have a ton of voice lines in the game, so maybe they all eventually come, but nothing is solid on Green Goblin or Hobgoblin. Arguably, it's between Green Goblin and Doc Ock as to who the best Spider-Man villain is. I think you can debate that either way. Um, but I think Green Goblin, like honestly, like I would love to see. I don't think we have enough of this. As like a Vanguard strategist
Combo.
combo deal,
Yeah.
right? Like I like we have like some tank DPS combos, we have some DPS healer combos. I think Green Goblin could honestly almost fit a role of like both a Vanguard and strategist. If I had to pick one, it's probably strategist. Even
Yeah.
though we already have a flying strategist in Ultron, I think we could do it with more and like I mean, you could have so many different types of bombs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they have all different effects and obviously like gliding around. Like I would love a free flight strategist similar to like an Angela free flight, and I think Green Goblin or Hobgoblin would be that perfect fit.
Yep. And you know what? That listen, Green Goblin was on my list too, so I'm glad you brought that up. And I like how you mentioned strategist slash Vanguard. For me, I was leaning more towards strategist slash duelist because of the fact that he has so many gadgets and his like little bombs. Like I can envision him being a duelist, right, as a strategist, like throwing certain bombs that will, maybe do some sort of like a ticking, like
Mm-hmm.
poison damage. But also on the strategist side, some sort of smoke, some sort of gas grenade, some sort of
Ooh,
like
yeah.
some sort of molly that like blocks off a choke point, things like that. And you're doing this from the air, right? You're basically air support for your team.
Or,
I think that is such a phenomenal idea. And who wouldn't want to be able to just free fly, move around the map on a glider as Green Goblin? I think that would just
or
be so cool.
we need like the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man move, or like he like maybe like throws the glider at someone, and tries to like impale someone to a wall,
Hey,
just
that
as a meme at
make
least.
that his ult. Honestly, make that
Like
his
it's not
ult.
just impaling people to the wall.
And if
That'd
he
be
misses,
awesome.
if he whiffs the ult, he's just stranded. He doesn't have a glider anymore.
Or it comes back and impales yourself to the wall, just like how he died in the movie.
That would be
Um,
hilarious.
or like honestly, like Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, the whole shtick is like Norman goes mad, right? Like even like some type of madness or something, where like Green Goblin like gets in people's heads or something, and like hear voices or something is like mess you up mechanic, disorientation mechanic. Like there's so much you could do with like a Green Goblin and really have fun with it.
Absolutely.
Who's your next person?
My Green Goblin was one of them.
One?
No, but I did have one more person. Also, my wonderful wife bought me ice cream, so when I'm not talking, I might be eating some ice cream so it doesn't melt.
There you go. Nice.
Well, it's not,
it is 100 degrees where we're at.
It is.
Hence why my fan is closer.
It is. Yep. My last character, and this is one that's potentially out of left field, and maybe not, because I do believe he was in the trailer of the new Spider-Man. This is a character that I've had an affinity for, and I told you this in our pre-show. I've had an affinity for this character since I started playing HeroClix. I don't know if you all know what that is. Kind of like a tabletop game with like Marvel characters, DC, and now it's like a whole bunch of different franchises. Sure. Would love to get back into it, actually. I absolutely love HeroClix. But for whatever reason, when I first started playing HeroClix, I used this character a lot, and that is Mr. Fred Myers, who is Boomerang. I don't know. I just loved how he was just this normal guy with boomerangs, and he's just like chucking boomerang. For whatever reason, I loved it. Also, today he was released on Marvel Snap. And Marco knows I picked Boomerang, and I was using him. Absolutely destroyed.
Using against me.
I'm just saying.
All right.
And I man, like it's funny because at this point I feel like Boomerang is like a meme villain, but it's just like cool to think about him as a DPS in Marvel Rivals, because I'm thinking like a boomerang, like an actual boomerang physics as your auto attack, right? He's chucking boomerangs and they're coming back. So like clearly, like it's almost like Moon Knight, right? Like Moon Knight throws his crescent rings and they're like bouncing between people. The boomerang might be like hitting people and coming back to you, so you can kind of play with angles as your auto attack. But then like his special like abilities could be more tied to something like his gadget boomerangs. Like he has thrown boomerangs that explode, boomerangs that kind of like Hanzo in Overwatch, where it's like a sonar, and then maybe you get like a small wall hack for you and your team, right? Like I think he can kind of be supporty while also being a DPS. Man, I just want to see him just whip out a giant ass boomerang and just chucking it as his ult. That's all I want to see.
Right. Just fatty. I honestly, like, yeah, Boomerang would be fun. Honestly, I and they could go crazy with it too. Like maybe like as he's throwing boomerangs and they come back, like you have to press a button to catch it or something. Maybe that buffs yourself. Like there's so much fun you could have.
Like an active reload.
Like an active reload, like
genius,
Gears of War is exactly what I was thinking. You catch it and then you like throw 3 or something. Like, you can have it. Like, there's so much fun. And honestly, that's why I love this game. Is like you can take someone like Boomerang, you're like, what the hell? And like somehow they'll make him OP, and you're like, broken character, messes up Hulk, Thor, and Captain America, and he.
It would be so cool, man. And I know you're gonna do your last character, but. A side kind of character that I was also thinking about when I thought about Boomerang was Bullseye. I think he would be like the more popular character. And I honestly, they could do like fun things with like having him just throw like pencils and scissors and God knows what as his weapon.
It's kind of like Moon Knight's famous comic strip.
Like
it's like random shit.
Random bullshit. It's
no, actually, like would be funny of the leaked characters is Paste Pot Pete.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Paste Pot Pete or they call him Trapster? He goes by both. Trapster and like Boomerang in the same season.
It would
like,
be hilarious.
You stick a guy with glue and then you throw a boomerang in his face.
It would be hilarious. I would love it.
Best season ever. All right, we'll wrap it up with my last character, and again sticking with the villains. We need more villain vanguards, and I was actually torn between these two, either a nihilist or an absorbing man, and I think it might lean absorbing man. I think absorbing man, I could like Annihilus is just like a big bad, and we need more big bads. But I think Absorbing Man could be cool because obviously just his power set, right? Like similar to like a rogue, he absorb people's powers. Like he could turn his limbs into different elements. He's usually seen with like how you mentioned like Doc Ock, like a chain and I don't know, like a piece of concrete, whatever he has, like just like swinging this like big mace around, absorbing like absorbing damage, turning into different elements, like similar to like Nico Minoru, like maybe he could change different like elements on the fly, or depending on like honestly like what would be really cool and interesting is like depending on who's on the enemy team and like the type of projectiles that they're shooting into Absorbing Man and like that he's absorbing, maybe he gets different power sets, right? Like honestly, like the sky's the limit for a guy like him.
Yeah.
And like he's a naturally big dude, so naturally a tank. And I can see him like being like, yes, a brawl character, which I don't normally play, but like depending on what he absorbs, like maybe he could be like a range, maybe he could be more brawl, like something like I want more characters where you can kind of like switch on the fly and just like introduce new mechanics that like they're not just one thing. They could be different things depending on what you need in the heat of the moment. And I think Absorbing Man is like the perfect type of archetype to fit that type of build.
Yeah, and honestly, I would even go as far as say like with his shape shifting abilities and going back to my spy, TF2 kind of example earlier. I seeing it would be so cool keeping him as a vanguard, but allowing him to shapeshift into like an enemy, almost like a Loki kind of situation, and then like just like in the all the chaos of Marvel Rivals popping up and just disrupting the enemy team as a vanguard, I think would be so cool. Especially with his power mimicry abilities, right? Like I think at one point in the comics he had taken the powers of the Sentry. I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened, and that's awesome. Like kind of like Rogue, like it would be really cool. I think just having him being like a disruptive tank or vanguard, and
yeah, I think he's isn't he a member of like the Thunderbolts too? Like I would love to have more Thunderbolts just generally and like have those types of like team ups too. Like
I know he was in the Masters of Evil. I'm not sure about the Thunderbolts,
okay.
But for sure Masters of Evil, he was like recruited into it alongside I think I don't even remember, like Baron Zemo.
Give us
you guys
more
in the
of that
comics
too.
probably
like,
know more. Yeah.
Somebody will give us the breakdown of history and tell us where we're wrong. It's hard to do these live, okay? No notes, just like going off the rip and like trying to remember all this lore. And like I have this Marvel encyclopedia that's like as fat as my head. But yeah, so that was our list. Like you said, like we're big Rivals fans. Like I really hope this game continue to has legs for years to come. I think it will. I think it's still doing really well, putting up great numbers. Season 9 has been some of the most fun, just like with how much new they added to the game, and like honestly, the sky's the limit with this thing. And I think they're going at a great pace. Like a new character every 5-6 weeks has been a lot of fun. And I think that's like some of the biggest fun of this game. So let us know in the comments, what you think about our thoughts and how we design these heroes. But more importantly, we'd love to hear what heroes or villains are you thinking? What role would you put them in? What kind of powers would you like them to have? Would love to hear from you. And like, there's so many good ideas out there. Post them in the comments. Maybe NetEase will take some of our ideas and you could get your idea in the game. Who knows? Then lastly, some housekeeping at the end of the video. If you stuck around this long, really hope you enjoyed this type of content. We're brand new to the podcast and streaming space. In the link below, in the description below, you'll see our link tree to our YouTube, but also our Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, you name it, we have it. And lastly, we are giving a $20 game key giveaway as soon as we reach 100 subscribers on YouTube. So anyone who comments whether you're subscribed or not, but though we do prefer that you do be subscribed. If you comment on YouTube, that'll count as one entry, and if you comment on any of our Spotify videos, that'll count as a second entry as well. So up to 2 chances to win. As soon as we hit 100 subscribers, we'll post a video of the randomization process we use to pick, and you'll have 48 hours to respond. We'll DM you. If the winner doesn't respond within 48 hours, we'll pick a new winner, etc.
And I'll say that's a good reason to subscribe, honestly. I mean, we're going to post it as like either a video or a short, and if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification of it, and you can see if you've actually won the giveaway. But if you're not subscribed, you might miss it, and then we're just going to add to reroll, and we don't want to have to do that.
That's right. So, and this is, we're just getting started here on Screen Peek. Our first giveaway at 100. Who's to say what will happen at 250, 500, 1,000? You may hurt his Marvel Snap whale status with all the giveaways we might do. But so yeah, so look out for that. And yeah, subscribe, and thanks for watching.